What's up, guys? Welcome back to the EG Pop Thunder with your boy, the young light-skinned Key Sweat. And to my left, returning for the 2022 NFL Divisional Round Predictions, my guy Cam's Corner.
What's going on, guys?
And my guy Flanny has returned at the long hiatus.
I'm back. What's up?
And he is back. And he is the new face of the
Rhode Island FC.
And that's a crazy story in itself. You're finally allowed to tell the story. We need to know how that even came about.
Yeah, it was super dope. I know we joked about it before. Like I literally had to sign like an NDA and wasn't able to talk about certain things, which was very weird for me. I'm one who loves to share, especially the good news, right? But no, it was awesome. It was really something that came together, super organic. The folks who were working behind the scenes, Nail Communications, based out of Providence. Shout out to them. They had the privilege of being able to come up with the crest and colors and the identity of the new soccer team that's coming to Rhode Island. Which for most folks that don't know, it's going to be really awesome. The stadium is going to be right in Pawtucket, right on the Seekonk River, which is next to, the big Apex building you see. If you kind of look over to the right of the bridge, you'll see the construction site, what they're building, everything that's kind of coming together. So super awesome for, my own backyard to have that, and I think it's going to be super awesome for our community. So it was an honor and a privilege for me to have the opportunity. Again, it just really fell into my lap. I had a connection with them. They were kind of picking my brain about some aspects of the team just because obviously I'm from the area, from Pawtucket, also a big soccer fan. And then the voiceover for the videos and the press conference that I was able to host and some of the other things just really came together organically and fell in my lap. They had put out the audition for the voiceover at Worldwide Casting Hall, the actual voice actors who do this for a living, and it just didn't feel right to them. It didn't sound right. It didn't feel authentic to the city and to what they were trying to accomplish. So I had an opportunity to try it out, and they obviously enjoyed it and gave me the opportunity to do the voiceovers for both the video that kind of explains everything that went into it, the colors, the crest, the identity. Soccer in Pawtucket has gone back to the 1800s. So it's really cool to see that all come together, and also just the unveiling of the team name and the crest and colors, which honestly, candidly, I think are really dope. I think the colors came together. I think it's a really good representation of the city, of the state, and also just the culture they have there. So that was awesome. Had the opportunity to do the voiceovers, had the opportunity to host a press conference with the two co-founders in Pawtucket and really launch things off. So super excited that we begin playing in 2024. Stadium will be ready. So I'm excited for the city. I think it's going to be really awesome for all the young kids growing up there. I remember being a kid going to McCoy Stadium and being 7, 8 years old and watching like Trot Nixon and those guys come in rehab. And I wanted to be a professional baseball player, seeing that. So I think it's gonna be really cool for the next generation in the future to be able to see soccer in their backyard and be able to aspire for something like that. I think it's just gonna be awesome for the city and the state.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of that's taking over for the Paw Sox as well. Like that filling that void that. Just even hopefully they're doing like I'm assuming they will like events for like the community, like 4th of July, fireworks, and things along those lines. We kind of lost that with the Paw Sox leaving.
Yeah, and I think that's been the biggest void. Like my mom still lives right across the street from McCoy Stadium, so we literally from the front porch could see like the outfield and see the scoreboard and all that. And every 4th of July, 3rd of July, everybody would kind of just come to our house and hang out for the fireworks. So I think we're really missing that in the city and just having that opportunity. So I know, and this is one thing I was telling the folks on the team, I'm like, hey, if you're gonna come to the city, if you're gonna come to this community, you really have to embrace it. If you don't do that, you're never going to get the buy-in from folks, and it's not going to feel natural and organic. So I think, being able to talk to the co-founders and the president of the team, they really seem invested in the city as a whole. So their offices are going to be right downtown Pawtucket, which is awesome because I think that's kind of their way of showing like we're really in it and about it. So I think as a whole, it's going to be awesome for the community as a whole. And I just think, it's an exciting project for me, and I'm excited to see it actually like start to come to fruition, like start to see players, start to see what the jersey's going to look like, what the gear is going to look like, and kind of all in all what it'll encompass.
That's fire. That's a lot. Do you have anything, Cam? You can hop in at any moment you have any questions.
I mean, I'm just fascinated by it. It's kind of cool how everything's coming together like so fast too. Like in the sports industry, things happen like overnight sometimes. Yeah. So congratulations to you.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Very interested to see like where that takes you. You know what I mean? Because like in this, like I said, the sports industry, like you never know what's gonna happen. Yep. So very happy for you, and again, very pleased to meet you.
Yeah.
Great connection along the way.
Absolutely.
So Yeah, ready to get going for this episode.
Let's go.
Yeah, no, that's fire. Just a clarification for me. Is that like what are they like the minor leagues, or what's like their?
Yeah, so they're going to play in the USL, which is the United Soccer League. So it is a bit of a level below the MLS, right? So and it's funny because a lot of people think of it like USL as kind of like the minor leagues of the MLS, which isn't technically the case, right? Like you're not going to have like a AAA affiliate in that league of like, for instance, like we're not going to be the AAA team of the New England Revolution. It's a completely different entity, different league, but that also is kind of dope because it's really that focus on that community aspect. Like similar to what the Paw Sox were able to do, they're going to be able to really bring the community, and also apart from the stadium, they're going to have shops and restaurants and a kind of a walk and bike path along the river. So like it's really going to be a destination for people in the city. Like you said, there's nowhere else to go.
Yeah,
like
especially
there's
in
really
Pawtucket.
nothing to do in Pawtucket. And I love my city to death, but for the longest time, there hasn't been anything there. It hasn't been a destination site for folks, and the Paw Sox were really the only thing. So now that that's gone, like you said, there's a huge void to fill, and I think this is coming at the perfect time. World Cup's going to be in the U.S. in 2026, so already thinking about how it's going to kind of just roll into it, I think it's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that should be a dope time. Are you like for doing the voiceover work and stuff like that? Are you more involved when the team's are you gonna be there like opening game and stuff like that? What's
Yeah,
your
so
involvement at that
that's
point?
the plan. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what else I can do. So like, what I kind of signed on to do was that work. It was kind of like, hey, we want you for this, but we've also, have had a lot of discussions with the president and team and the co-founders, which actually is dope. One of the co-founders is from Cranston. Born and raised here, ended up being, an MLS star, rookie of the year in the MLS, went on to represent the U.S. national team. So that's also nice to see that buy-in from someone there. But yeah, for me, it's more of a passion for me, and I would joke with them. I was like, I was going to go to these games anyway. Like I was going to come and be a part of all these things anyway. So if I can do anything more, feel free. So yeah, I'm currently working with them now to see how I can still stay invested and kind of help them connect to the community and vice versa. So excited to see what that can look like moving forward between now and 2024.
That's dope. I'm really excited and interested for you as well. And I see you can move that mic too if you need a little thing on the side that goes down. And that's talking about soccer. We're here obviously for NFL, for football. This is the podcast 2022 Divisional Predictions. This is a question I've never even asked you this because I'm a big NFL NBA guy, and I kind of stick to my lane. Big WWE guy as well, and those are like my three main.
Are you gonna buy the WWE? I think.
Oh, I wish. We can join together. You and the investors from the MLS team.
I'm down.
But yeah, those are like my main three. Like I guess like sports. I mean, I'll consider WWE a sport, but the main three sports. I feel like for you, I think kind of you as well. You have baseball as well, especially for you, Flanny. You're the king of everything. How do you guys find the time to be so knowledgeable? And like, I think 2 sports is a lot.
Right.
Never mind 3. I see you tweeting all the time about tennis, everything. You're on watching everything,
Hey, man.
golf.
If it's a sport, I'm in. And like, I think for me, a lot of it came from my older brother. So it was really cool to have an older brother in the house. All the teams I root for now are the favorite teams of my older brother, right? So it was natural from that sense. And like, I remember being a kid and I would joke like, nobody played tennis, where I grew up, right? But I literally remember like going to Benny's and asking my mom to buy me like a tennis racket, and then coming home and be like, well, nobody else in this apartment complex has a tennis racket. So I would literally be hitting the ball against like the wall and like but I enjoyed it, and I would go and watch it. And like, for me, any sort of sport is enjoyment. And it's like, I know it's funny because I think a lot of people I talk to now get into more sports because maybe they're bettors and maybe they're like, oh, this might be a good way. But like for me, obviously it was never like that as a kid. I just really enjoyed seeing different things. And it's been awesome now because like I look at people like Roger Federer and Rafa Nadal or even soccer players that I grew up knowing who they were, even if I didn't really appreciate the sport. And I think it's helped make me more well-rounded in how I perceive sports, how I look at sports, even from like an off the field or off the court lens. I think being able to kind of, and I always joke, like I love to know a lot. I love to know a little bit about a lot. Some people pride themselves in knowing a lot about a little, and I like to kind of take the opposite approach. And sports is definitely the medium where I think that's kind of shown through the most. And it's helped me because now I can be like this soccer thing, right? Like if I didn't get into soccer at the time I did, this probably wouldn't have been an opportunity, or even just any other opportunities that have come across in my life. Sports has always kind of played a prevalent role. So I think, and I would encourage anybody, like golf, right? Like, we golf.
Yeah.
And like, that's something that most people from where we're from don't do. And even at that age, right? Like even, people will pick up the game in their 30s and 40s. So for me to be able to say I picked up the game in my late 20s, early 30s is exciting because now it's something I can do for the rest of my life, and I won't blow my knees out or tear my Achilles or any of that crazy stuff. So yeah, it's kind of just been always around me, and I've always just embraced it as a kid, as opposed to kind of finding a focus on a couple things. I've always really just embraced the unknown of sports, and it's always just been dope.
Yeah, I guess I never asked you that question, Cam. So how do you what do you, baseball, hockey, basketball, football?
Baseball. I mean, basketball is obviously my number one. Then football. I'd probably have to say hockey, just because my dad played hockey, all throughout his career, like in high school, and he didn't go to college, but he tried to force me into it. But that was like the first sport he introduced me to, and I didn't take a liking to it as much when I was little. But the basketball kind of kickstarted my passion for sports and everything. And you made a good point about like if you never picked up a tennis racket or started playing, like you never would have maybe even got that opportunity of what you have right now. So for me, like I love the game of basketball. So everything I'm trying to do is trying to it's like around basketball. Like I don't want to I mean, if I did get a job with like golf or something like that, like a different sport, I would take it 100% because you got to take any opportunity you can get. But at the end of the day, I do want to bring it back to basketball at one point. But going back to your question, definitely probably focusing more on the Bruins than maybe on the baseball line, because I'm a Yankees fan. But 100%, diehard Knicks fan, and then Giants, of course, and then I'd have to say hockey for the Bruins.
Yeah. When we can start off with last week. Cam was here with my boy Elry last week. Cam's record for the first round predictions, the Super Wildcard predictions. Cam ended out 4-2. The two losses we predicted wrong was the Bucks and the Jaguars.
I think you were the only one that was 5-0, right? Or 6-0, right?
Oh no, I lost. I picked I thought the Bucks were gonna beat the Cowboys.
5-1. That's what
yep, 5-1. I was the only 5-1.
Two good records. Yeah. Better than Elry's, I believe.
Elry was 3-3. I'm pretty positive. Yeah. I called the Chargers blowing that lead. I knew that was I literally called that on the podcast and I said that Herbert chokes in prime time, and what did he do? Choked in prime time. What do we say? Is that Herbert or is that the coaches? What are we thinking? Like Jaguars, Chargers.
Jeez. I don't know. I mean, like going up 27-0. That's got to be like some part of the coaching.
That's everybody, man.
Everyone's
1 through 53.
Players playing bad. I mean, you coach once you start to lose that lead, you got to be aware of the situations and what's going on and adjust, not keep doing the same thing you've been doing. So definitely, both ends for sure.
Yeah, that's got to be everybody. I mean, like you said, to your point of coaching. Coaches have to see that before anybody else, right? Yeah. So they got to see, okay, this isn't working. We need to make this adjustment. They've made that adjustment already. Let's get ahead of it. And it didn't seem like there was any of that. It was just kind of this deer in the headlights look. It seemed like from everybody on the Chargers. And the cool thing is, one, Jacksonville was obviously at home, so that helped a little bit. But also, Jacksonville's we're playing with house money right now.
Yeah.
Nobody expects us to win. Nobody expects us to do anything. So anything we do, it's a lot easier. And also, I think having Doug Peterson helps. And I know this from being an Eagles fan and having him there in 2017 when we won, is his mentality is us against the world. We don't care. We're going to get it done. We're going to find a way. And I think that's really resonated with the players. And you've even heard it all year. People ask me, what's the difference between this year and last year? Coaching. They're we had this wacko in here last year with all these random-ass coaches who were doing all this crazy shit. We couldn't get anything done. Now we actually have a staff who believes in us, who knows what they're doing. It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah, in the second half, they only ran 8 run plays when they're up.
Yeah, I was just talking about that with the Twins, Nick and Tom. I mean, those are my guys. They love football, obviously, to death. But we were talking about it. We put a couple little player props in, and I had Trevor Lawrence over in yards. Obviously, the first half, I was like, hey, this is not going to hit. And then he goes off, and he went, I think it was 285, 86 yards or whatever, and his line was 240 something. And I was like, I wasn't expecting it, but I mean, he tore it up in the second half. So I mean, props to the Jaguars, man. That was a heck of a game.
Yep, that was definitely incredible. And
so I have a question here. So I'm posed this to both of you. The way things are set up, you win your division, you get a home game. Do you all feel like that should possibly be changed if the team who is a wild card has a better record than the team who won their division and is hosted?
You want to go first, Cal?
I would say yeah, just because if you have a better overall season than the other team, like you said, record-wise, I feel like a team I'm not sure who had a really not deep, the Bucks, they didn't have that great of a record. So I mean, if they won a game, they won their wild card game. I don't think they deserve, you know what I mean. So yeah, for sure.
Well, who knows? Again, He's Tua's rival, I guess, because of the draft. But so I'm not rooting for the Chargers. But who knows if that happens with the Chargers though? Because they technically should have been hosting that game.
Yeah,
They should have been hosting that game. Does the Jaguars come back in LA? I mean, who knows? You can't really predict the future, but it's a completely different game.
It is.
So I definitely am on that boat. I think it should be like the NBA, where division champs make the playoffs, but they don't have to host a game. So, just like that. All right, Jaguars should be in for making it, but LA should be hosting that game.
Yeah,
I think even with the Cowboys, they shouldn't be at Tampa. Dallas should be hosting a game. That's not right at all. 100%. I don't agree with that. How about you? That was your question.
Yeah.
Do you think?
No, that's the thing. I think I'm leaning that way, and I understand, and just because it's been this way, you win your division, that should get you something, right? But I think getting you a playoff spot is what that's the reward. I feel like the home field advantage is extra. Right, and I think now, because look how they've changed, they added the extra wild cards, so now getting that number 1 seed is so much more important.
100%.
So, and I think that's fine if you want to make that change, but also I think if you're going to do that, then you have to think about, okay, we're sending an 11-6 team on the road to play an 8-8 team, or we're sending a 13-4 team on the road. Like, I look at the AFC specifically. You have Kansas City, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. All those teams right there, and then even look at the teams who barely who made it into the wild card. It's like, yes, should Tampa be at home? Should these teams be at home? I get that it's always been that way, but I feel like if you want to continue to advance the game, you have to at least think about it. You have to.
Yeah, that thing you definitely should be considered to be changed for sure. And we can start off with now the round 2. We can start off. We have it here in the background. We can pull it up. Let's pull it up on the screen. Boom, right in front of me now. Oh, or not. What is going on with this screen? What is going on here?
It's not digging you today.
Not digging. It doesn't like me today. All right. Let's do it again. Boom, 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 boom. Here we are. It's covering the entire screen now. Boom, here we are. So we can start off with you guys. Whoa, this isn't right.
Yeah, that was from last time. I saw like the bottom. This part is, I think, just messed up with like the San Fran side, because I know obviously the Giants are playing the Eagles.
I was gonna say,
so it's like flipped around.
I beat the Cowboys this week. That'd be good.
This is someone else's bracket. I don't know what's going on here. This is for this random.
No, it's just some random dude who's trying to win some money.
Bracket. Yeah, it's wrong.
Putting him on blast.
All right, well, I'll fix this. It is Giants, Eagles. We have Cam versus Flanny right here. What are you guys thinking is going on with this game? Flanny, what's your thoughts? What's your prediction on Eagles, Giants?
So, all year, all I heard was the Eagles are locked for the Super Bowl. It's going to be so easy. They're going to get to the NFC. There's no competition. There's this, there's that. Now, I'm just old enough to know that that's not how these things work, right? Throughout the whole year, I'm like, I'm cautiously optimistic. They're playing well. You can see the adjustments from last year. You can see Hurts' progression. You can see the offseason additions. You can see the guys like Miles Sanders who are playing for contracts. I'm like, it looks great. I'm like, but I remember Carson Wentz going down and getting hurt in LA in that year, and I'm like, oh shit, nothing matters if guys get injured. Like, injuries are the ultimate equalizer in every sport. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what you have set up. We've always seen injuries will change any and everything. So I was always being just cautiously optimistic. And then, of course, Hurts gets hurt. Lane Johnson gets hurt. All these guys start to go down. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, this was my biggest fear. Now, on paper, they're all healthy. Everybody should be back for Sunday with the exception of Avonte Maddox on nickel corner. So everybody should be healthy. But should be healthy doesn't always translate to actually being healthy, right? So I feel good about the Giants game. It's at home. It's a team who I think when we were at our best, we played well against. The game a couple weeks ago is a bit of an outlier because they didn't have their guys playing. We had some of our guys playing. It doesn't make me feel good because our number one guys look like shit compared to the Giants' 2s and 3s. But I'd like to think if we're healthy, I think we, 1 through 53 are better. I feel confident in our guys just being better across the board. So I think if everyone is okay and it looks the way it does and we stick to the game plan we have, I think we'll get through the weekend. But I got a lot of respect for the Giants, and it's grown throughout the year, especially Dayball. Like,
Yeah.
I love that dude. Like, he
too.
could coach my team all day. You can tell those guys really, really rally around him. He's clearly made a difference with Daniel Jones and even just the guys around. Like, I feel like the last few years I look at the Giants and I'm like, this is an NFL roster.
Mm-hmm.
They don't act like an NFL team. They don't look like an NFL team. I think they're actually starting to look like that. So, could they beat us? Of course. Absolutely they can beat us. It's a division rival, so already there I'm like, fuck. We've seen the Giants go from wild card and win Super Bowls before, so it's not new to them. I'm a little not worried, but I'm a little apprehensive. I'm certainly not gonna be like, we're gonna pull the Giants out, because I don't see that happening. I think ultimately I could see like 31-21 Eagles, but I do think it's gonna be a really good game and a tough game. It's certainly they're not gonna just they roll over.
Yeah.
So I figured this out. So Flanny, this is Flanny's bracket right here underneath me. He got Eagles beating the Giants. Cam, you are a big Giants fan. Does the roller coaster stop here, or do you guys have the Cinderella story and beat the Eagles?
I mean, yeah, bouncing off what he was saying. I mean, like, you gotta have respect for Daniel Jones after this season. You know what I mean? Like, he completely turned around the narrative from the past couple of years, and I know it's taken a while. I mean, this is like his 5th year now, so it's like, would you fold the cards and try to get rid of him after this year if he didn't have the year he did, or like what's that looking like? But Saquon had a good breakout year too.
He did.
So it's like, if all that's clicking, everyone else is. Drafting Kayvon Thibodeau, like, that's a huge improvement for the defense. They've been stepping up a lot, and I feel like Daniel Jones is making guys like Richie James and Isaiah Hodgins like look like top receiver, not like top receivers in the NFL, but I mean they're making incredible catches, and Daniel Jones is putting it in the spot where they can make plays and get yards after the catch. You know what I mean? So it's like just huge props to him. I mean, he's been not only just throwing the ball well, he runs after. He's never a guy to get out of the pocket.
He does not get enough credit for his athleticism.
Exactly.
And I know, like, I remember the one run he had where he fell down.
Well, yeah.
And it's like, but he got past everybody.
Right.
So, like, I that's one thing that worries me a bit about Daniel Jones is him using his feet Saturday as a difference, because I think that really can be a difference maker. If we don't really take into consideration that he could run, I think it could hurt us.
Yeah, he just needs to protect the ball, because if he breaks out somewhere like that, like obviously you don't want to trip over your feet or anything like that, but and you don't want to get injured either. So I mean, again, props to him. And like I always tell like my friends, like I wouldn't say Walmart. I don't want to disrespect them, but like
Target,
version of
Target.
Like Josh Allen kind of.
Target version.
Yeah, I'll say Target version of Josh Allen. Like you see that. I mean, he's obviously not as versatile, but he's quick. And again, you never saw that part of his game where he'd get out of the pocket and gain yards just by himself running. So I mean, and including Saquon and Breida also backing up him. He's been playing out of his mind too. So just gotta pray that again, both teams. I mean, I can see that score happening, 31-27, but I mean, just out of spite and just out of being a fan, I'll say the Giants. So.
Yeah, you have.
Oh, so you're gonna say the Giants? This
Yeah,
is
I'll
all
say the
switching up.
Giants. Yeah, I gotta go with my guys.
We're gonna have a different bracket for you right here. So you're gonna go Giants. We can duplicate this. While I'm doing this, we have at the bottom of the NFC Cowboys, 49ers. What are we thinking in that game right here? We both took this loss. We both said Bucks last week, so Cowboys gave us that 1L. Well, my 1L. So it is Cowboys Niners. What are we thinking here, Cam? Are you thinking Cowboys pulled upset? Is it really an upset? I mean, I don't know the spread.
I mean, being fans of both of those teams in that division, I mean, we're probably both going to say San Fran.
Yes.
I mean, you want to see San Fran win, but it's tough. I mean, Cowboys have been playing great. I mean, they smoked Brady. I mean, that's a huge confidence booster for them as well, just coming in off a wild card game. So, but Brock Purdy, he showed up against Seattle. I mean, obviously Seattle's not like that dominant of a team in this whole playoff bracket, but I mean, he showed what he really can do at a playoff level. So, but I would say San Fran for that round.
So we got updating Cam's bracket here because it's a little different. He got, I don't know what that just happened there. Well, I'm pulling that up. Brock Purdy is 23 years old. He is the youngest player in NFL postseason history to throw for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in a game.
Wow.
And I'm not sure if you guys knew this. The man he surpassed was Dan Marino. And I hate when people lie. Hear this lie. He said that his childhood hero and the reason why he wears 13 is because of Dan Marino.
He wasn't alive.
He was 19 days old when Marino played his last game.
Yeah, he was.
Why do people lie for?
What was that, 96?
No, 99.
99. Yeah, he wasn't even there.
He wasn't even alive.
Oh, my God.
Well, I mean, you can make the argument, like, for somebody like me, like, say, like, I was, growing up playing basketball, and I was like, oh, I wore 33 because I idolized Larry Bird. Like, I wasn't alive, watching Larry Bird play, but it's like, you see highlights. Obviously, like, now in these times, you can watch a full game. You can watch
it is different.
But,
it is
but
true.
I do agree with you on that point. Like, just because, like, he heard that stat, he probably just was like, oh, yeah, Dan Marino.
Because I think I'm pretty sure because his first game was against Brady. And I remember them interviewing him saying that. I'm pretty sure he was like, yeah, well, I idolize Brady. Look up, which that makes a little more sense, right?
Yeah,
Because
100%.
shit, he's still in the league. But it is fun. I think a lot of that, and Cam, just talking to players, it's a lot of just player speak, coach speak.
Yeah.
Like, we got to say it because it sounds good type of things. But no, I mean, I got to give Brock credit, man. To go from Mr. Irrelevant to this point. And I think back to a year ago, and I was curious about this against Seattle. Because I think San Fran is amazing. And if I'm being very unbiased, they may be the best team in the NFC currently because of the way they're playing, their defense, which we know always translates to the playoffs and wins championships. But last year, Jalen Hurts granted, he went on the road, but he went to Tampa last year and he didn't look good at all in his first playoff start. So in my head, I'm like, all right, is Brock going to have that first playoff start and just completely shit his pants and not know what to do? And he didn't. He played really well. A lot of credit to Shanahan for putting him in the right spots, right? But it's not. I don't think it's much different than Garoppolo a couple of years ago when they got the Super Bowl. It's like, hey, just don't fuck up.
Yeah.
Just literally be a game manager. Hand the ball off to these two All-Pros you got behind you. Hit your All-Pro tight end. Hit your Pro Bowl caliber wide receiver, and just don't make any mistakes. And I think he's doing exactly that. So I wonder, does that game come this week against Dallas where he doesn't look quite like himself because they're obviously a lot better position than Seattle was. If it somehow becomes a shootout, can he go tit for tat with Dak? Who Dak played amazing last week, probably his best playoff game ever. So I think he's probably confident. I do think San Fran's defense is a lot better. I think their front seven is just so solid. Even their back end, I forget the safety's name, but I know he was an All-Pro this year. So I think San Fran's defense makes the difference. I think that one's another close one. But I think them being at home and their defense, I think, makes a difference in San Fran goes through. I hope that happens because fuck the Cowboys, right? Like, never want to see them prosper. But also, candidly, I probably wouldn't be mad at having the Cowboys come and play next week. Only because I think we probably match up as the Eagles a little bit better with them, but I can't want them to win or see them win. Like if the Eagles win this week and play San Fran next week and lose, I wouldn't be mad at San Fran going on and doing so because I just enjoy watching them play.
Yes. So in your bracket right here, you got San Fran.
I got San Fran. All right, sorry, El, but I think that's what's gonna happen.
How's it? One of your good friends, El? Do you guys have that? The one thing you guys don't see eye to eye on? Are you guys like secretly like Elrace? Elrace's an idiot. You guys have that secret beef with each other?
No, but I will say I did see what he mentioned on here last week, and he was dead serious about the Cowboys making the Super Bowl. And in my head, I'm like, El, how are you coming to this conclusion? Granted, they looked great against Tampa last week, but they still have two tough games regardless of their plan. If they get there, all the kudos in the world to them. But I that has to be bias. Like, I'm sorry, El. There's no way you're taking a step back and thinking like across the board they're Super Bowl champions. If they get to the NFC, like they got Murderers Row on the other side.
Yeah.
So
I mean, he was getting it on YouTube comments. He was getting on Instagram comments.
I saw it everywhere.
TikTok comments. People were coming for his neck.
But if he's right,
that's how you get noticed, though.
Yeah.
But he genuinely thinks that.
He does.
He does. So, but that's what I like.
And if they were to pull it off, what can we say to him? We can't say anything.
Yeah.
He's keeping all the receipts
anything
right
can
now.
happen. That's why I'm keeping faith in the Giants.
It really could. It really could at this point.
Yeah, we can just do the whole NFC side first. So then you can start off now, Flanny. You kind of just said it right now. So you segued yourself into this. Niners, Eagles, Philly would be hosting this. So it's in Philly. Those fans are crazy. One question, have you been to a game in Philly before?
I've been to Philly. I've been in the stadium. I've never seen a home game in Philly. I've seen the Eagles play a bunch of times, mostly in Tampa. I'll go visit my brother down there. We'll catch a game, but I've never seen them play in the Link. I was actually supposed to go earlier this year for the Cowboys Sunday night game, and it fell through. So I've been in the stadium. I've been in all the facilities. I was at the Super Bowl parade when they won a few years ago. But I haven't been in the Link for a big game like that.
I was just asking because I can't imagine the atmosphere that's going to be in there.
It's insane, man. I think back to the parade when it was, I think, like 2 million people. And it was funny because you think of Philly fans, you think, like, just assholes. And like, they will literally try to hurt you. And I remember being at the parade. I'm like, you will never get this many Eagle fans in one place and everybody's smiling. Like, it's just...
Oh, man, you guys have no reason to be upset.
Yeah, exactly.
You never know. First game of the year, I went to the Dolphins-Patriots game. We beat the Patriots that game, and then after the game, there was 2 Dolphin fans fighting in the bathroom. It's like, why are you guys fighting? We won. We won. But you never know, though.
No, and I hate that. I was actually talking with somebody about that the other day, and it's so funny you see that because it's like if me and Cam walk into an Eagles and Giants game, and we both have Giants gear on, we both have Eagles gear on, nobody would bat an eyelash.
Yeah.
But if I just happen to have the other team's jersey on, now you want to like literally murder me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get the fandom, but like at that point, I'm like, I don't understand that.
Especially like when you were with kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
People still don't care. I remember I went to a Dolphins Patriot game when I was like 10 years old. I was with my dad. And this older gentleman, I don't remember how old he was. I remember he was older than me, just getting on me. And then my dad, like, fucking went off on this dude. But it's like, deservingly so, though. It's like, dude, you're a 10-year-old kid here, and you're going to pick on this 10-year-old kid? Like, what's going through your mind? Like, even now, I still avoid those things. Like, I went to the Dolphin Patriot game, like, 2-3 years ago when Fitzpatrick threw the game winner to Gesicki at the end. And I remember going up the stairs, I had Dolphins gear on, but I'm not taunting or nothing like that. Going upstairs, people, you guys fucking suck. You guys fucking go home. Like, dude, like,
we just beat you guys.
Yeah. Like,
it's like salty. They're just mad. Like me. Like next week I'm going to Knicks Celtics at TD.
Oh, nice.
I'm not gonna wear any Knicks gear. Like I'm not crossing. I'm not
Smart play. You gotta just keep it underneath.
Yeah, I'm low key rooting. Well, if it's Knicks Celtics, I'm always gonna go Knicks. But I do see the Celtics succeed because of Joe. But yeah, I don't think if I'm in the other team's building, I'm not wearing my team's gear.
Yeah, and it's sad that it has to be. It really is sad that it has to be that way. But it is. Like, it's just crazy to think that. So I think that will. I mean, the fact that we're at home makes me feel a lot better. If that game was in San Fran, I'd be like, ah, shit. But and also it depends on what we look like against the Giants, right? If we barely get by the Giants and we scrape by, like, so many things can happen. And same thing with San Fran. You know, God forbid some of their guys could get hurt if they do win. So I think if we are healthy in like what we looked like pre-injuries, which is a big question mark right now, and I think everybody's beat up, right? But I think if we're healthy, we're at home.
El Rey said, tuned in, my guys. Let's go Cowboys. How about them Cowboys?
Sorry, El. Anti-Cowboy podcast all around you. But no, I think if all things are even across the board, I like the Eagles. Is that going to happen? I don't know. Also, maybe, hopefully for us, if Brock does get by Cowboys, maybe that rookie playoff game is in Philly. So I got confidence in my team. I've been riding with them all year. I'm not ready to jump ship. Obviously, depending on how they look like against Giants and if they get past them, might dictate it. But I am confident going on and saying that the Eagles will get to the Super Bowl.
About to the Cowboys.
So this is Flanny's bracket here. We got Eagles going in. Let's see if El responds. In the meantime, we got Cam's bracket now. It looks a little bit different than Flanny's. It is Giants at San Francisco. What is your mindset? Are you pulling the El Rey? Are you going to be biased? Are you changing? Well, first, have you changed your mind since the last brackets?
I wasn't. I mean, I didn't know. I didn't obviously know, but I was confident that the Giants were going to beat Minnesota. But if they did get to this round, I wasn't going to take them just because of how Philly's been playing. You know, how like we've been talking about. But I mean, you know, they look good against Minnesota. You know, they had like a little bit of a scare there in the third quarter, but I mean, they pulled through, and you know, consistency is key. So if they continue to play as they've been playing, I mean, you know, I guess I'm gonna change my mind a little bit. I'll take the Giants over the Eagles, but it's gonna be tough to beat San Fran in that divisional round, so or the championship, excuse me. So.
And I think too, in your standpoint, Cam, I'd imagine you probably feel a lot better about playing the Eagles this week than you would be if you were playing San Fran.
Right, but yeah, exactly. You know, Eagles, like you said, like, you know, Jalen Hurts might not be 100%, and like Miles Sanders too. Like they've been playing great this year. You know what I mean? Miles Sanders had a ton of great games, so does Jalen Hurts. But it's like, you know, are they really 100%? Are they not? I mean, obviously on the stat sheet, you know, it says they're healthy, but it's like, you know, you gotta watch the full game. You gotta give them the eye test and see if they're playing to the best of their ability. If they're not, you can pick up on that. You know, that's all goes to coaching. So if Dable and, you know, both ends of the ball can pick up on, you know, the weaknesses, you know, they're not going to be too bad. But again, going to this round now with San Fran, I mean, you know, it's going to be tough. So I mean, a little bit more of an experienced team. They did pick up, like, obviously McCaffrey didn't have a crazy season, and Kittle as well. I mean, I didn't think Kittle was going to have the season he had, but their defense is one of the best in the NFL too. So I mean, I'll probably take San Fran in that round, but. I think I changed it up a little bit from last time. Yeah, I said the Eagles were gonna.
Yeah, you said
pull through.
Well, we had Eagles Bucks.
Still be there, Cam. Well, you can't technically, but
yeah, but I'm not like canceling this out completely. But I want to stick with my guys. Hopefully for this week, and you know, see where that can go. But as far as the AFC, I'd probably say the same thing. To be honest, with whatever I got. But I mean, I was obviously wrong in one game. But
yeah, because you would have KC Chargers now for the AFC divisional side, Cam, to recorrect what your old prediction. You now have KC Jaguars. Was I right? Are the Jaguars running into a buzzsaw right now? Are they about to get absolutely annihilated?
I mean,
and just
you want to say that, but
just for the fact I'm agreeing with Flanny, by the way, on the NFC side.
Word.
Yeah.
I dig it.
So, you guys said all the points already. I'm just agreeing. Now, buzzsaw. Are they running into that buzzsaw again?
It's very, very possible. I kind of, not that I do want to see it, but they came back from a large deficit last week, so it's like, like I say with the Giants, if they can be consistent and continue to play how they've been playing, they could. I don't know if they'll pull through, but I think either if they keep it close or if it's a blowout, I think Kansas City all the way.
Yeah, I agree. I think, the Jaguars, what they have in their favor is, again, they're playing with house money. They have nothing to lose. Nobody is expecting them to go into KC and win. I do think them having to go to KC will be a bit of a culture shock. That's another really tough stadium to play in. So I think having to leave home and go there will be tough. I think unless KC comes out the bye and just completely lays an egg, which I just can't see. Andy Reid, and the playoffs is different, but I know Andy Reid, when he was with the Eagles, his record after a bye was like 14-1. And I don't think it's changed while being with Kansas City. So usually that extra week really benefits him. So I think Kansas City, unless something crazy happens where Mahomes, God forbid, were to get hurt or anything like that, or just completely forgets how to play football, I think Jacksonville can compete a little bit. I can see like a 17-10 at halftime or 24-17, but I just think Kansas City pulls away late and ends up, winning by at least 2 or 3 scores.
Yeah, I agree with both of you guys. I just don't see Jacksonville. I'm sticking with my prediction from the first podcast, and they're just going to get annihilated. It was a good run. Like the Giants had a good run, it's a feel-good season. Looking towards the future, they're building upon it, but,
And their window's what? It's just their window is just opening. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have a huge window, and that division is fucking awful. So, if you could just be competent in that division, you can compete every year.
Yeah, 100%. Well, KC, I just can't see them. From my recent memory, I can think just one time where they laid an egg against the Bucks. Besides that, they usually come to play. Mm-hmm. They don't leave their stuff at home. So we can wrap up that one right there. And next is the Bengals at Buffalo. So the rematch of that Monday night game. There's gonna be a whole lot of fanfare. They might beat the Dolphins and Bills record of last week, the most watched wild card game, which still blows my mind. There's so many Dolphin haters, but there's so many people watch the game. But it's Buffalo Bengals. I'm gonna stick with my prediction here. I'm gonna go Buffalo. I think they're the better team right now. They're gonna play for their guys, especially in this game. They're gonna come to play. I'm wearing a Bengals hat right now, but mostly to match the fit and beyond topic of the podcast. But I can't see Cincinnati beating them. It was a good season for Cincinnati. They're good. They're just matching up against the wrong team. If they're facing Jacksonville, they would be in the next round. But facing Buffalo, Josh Allen, especially they didn't come out to play last week. I thought Buffalo was gonna mop the floor with Miami, and that's my team. And they kind of played down to level. Josh Allen had 4 turnovers. Don't think that's gonna happen this week. They're gonna keep that in the back of their head. They're gonna come out and just run up the score, I think. Flanny's over here shaking his head. You agree with that? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it comes down. I think it's literally not this simple, but if DeMar Hamlin is in the stadium, the Bills win by 100. I thought he was going to be there for the Dolphins.
Me too.
I remember saying that.
When I seen that,
he's going to come out the tunnel and it's over.
100
the game's over.
100.
So now I'm thinking he wasn't there last week. I know his recovery's still going well, so I can see a scenario where he takes them out the tunnel Sunday, and it might be over. Because I love Joe Burrow. And I love Joe Burrow in games like this. I mean, look what he did last year, right? So, can the Bengals win? Absolutely. I just don't think they will. I think Buffalo, and I think to your point, it was a bit of a wake-up call for them last week. All right, we can't fuck around. We really have to be on our shit. So I think the return game, and I think because it's a return game, I think this is the best game of the week. I really think San Fran and Dallas, I think, could be really, really good, but I think this might be the best game of the week. And I think Burrow will come out. They'll play well. He'll play well. But I think Allen cleans up some of those mistakes. And don't get me wrong, I think Josh Allen is amazing. I don't think people understand how often he turns over the football. It happens a lot.
A lot.
And a lot of them are head scratchers. Where were you going with that?
But I forget who I was listening to. But the thing is, it's also their offense. Though, it's Ken Dorsey always just trying to go down the field.
Yeah.
So Josh Allen's always just trying to go for the big play.
Yep.
So when he's going for the big play, that's when those turnovers, last week when X had the interception, the other interception, because he's always trying to go big. It's either go big or go home for him. There's no intermediate plays. Either he goes that 80-yard bomb to Gabe Davis, or he's fumbling the ball. He's trying to run around the backfield for a million years. So is that like, but they kind of do have to do that though, because against Kansas City, they're gonna have to score a lot.
Oh yeah. I think, and I think Buffalo gets by this weekend. I think it's a close game, a good game. I absolutely sense he can win, but I think Buffalo will win. I think that emotional part of it will also help as well. But yeah, I mean, KC Buffalo, I think is gonna be an awesome game. Now this one, yes, this isn't in Atlanta. This would be in KC. It would only been if the Bengals got played KC. It would have been in Atlanta. Yep. So that one right there. So KC's at home. Again, another tough one. I think Kansas City will score a lot of points. But also Kansas City's defense, usually in big playoff games when they've showed, like the last couple of years when they've showed, it's been the defense is showing up, getting the quarterback, getting guys on the ground, making plays, getting short fields for Kansas City.
Jones is amazing.
Yeah, like that front seven is really, really good. So I think, and that one, I'd lean Kansas City. I think Buffalo's been teetering. Maybe this is the year they knock the door down. I think they're capable of it, right? I think front to back, offense, defense, Buffalo has an amazing roster, really good team. I think they're really, really well coached. But I can't see them going into KC and winning. I just can't.
I'm not sure if you watched my podcast, the one with El Ray and Cam.
Yep.
It's exactly the same thing I said. I just can't see it happening. It was a great feat for Buffalo, good year coming, but KC just has that. They can become the Warriors, like I said last week. This is the year people end up paying in KC. But just real quick topic before we get to Cam's AFC predictions. Since all these games, like Jaguars down 27, Buffalo up 17 last week, all these comebacks. Is it gonna get to the point though now where like the Buffaloes and KCs of the world, they're gonna rack up like 60, and then it's gonna be like, wow, they're destroying this team, but then they kind of have to though. No, like don't be wrong, I would be upset if you're dropping 60 on me when we're already getting destroyed.
Listen, it's the playoffs. If you want to go for 2 up 50 with 2 minutes left because you want to try out a 2-point play because you may need to use it, like. My thing has always been, you don't want me to score, stop me. You don't like that we're scoring, stop me. Like, it's not my job to defer to you and be like, oh, it's fucking professional football. It's the NFL, right? Yeah. So there's nobody's looking for that on either end. And to your point, it's like you can't score enough.
Yeah.
In the end, the way the NFL is set up is to score. So teams can get points in bunches. You can't let up at all.
You know how it's so crazy just because it's I'm not sure if it's just because it's Tom Brady. I feel the same way if it was Patrick Mahomes. But on Monday, I'm like, oh my God, 2 minutes left. Is Brady pulling the craziest comeback of all time? I swear to you, you never know. You never know. I remember one time, this was Tebow Broncos. Dolphins were up by 16 with 3 minutes left. Broncos came back and won. And I was like, what? So you never know.
No, you can't. You absolutely can't. Not, especially not in games this big. It's not like you're holding anything back or trying to keep anything. You have to just go out and play, and you have to score points. I mean, it's an offensive league. You have to score points.
Yeah. So having scored points, and now Cam, you are Cincinnati at Buffalo. Your prediction last week. I'm not sure if you're keeping it. You said you're keeping it the same way.
I'm gonna keep everything the same. Yeah. So now I got San Fran going all the way, but I'll still have Kansas City winning the whole thing regardless. But again, like we said, I don't see Buffalo beating Kansas City. I mean, I like the chances of Buffalo beating Joe Burrow, but again, I love Joe Burrow too. He's one of my favorite quarterbacks too. But again, something scary with Josh Allen though. He does that deep ball, so that could probably make or break Buffalo against Cincinnati. But coming up in that next round, I mean, I don't see Buffalo beating Kansas City in their place. And if they were to go all the way, I don't see San Fran, Giants, Eagles, Cowboys, anybody. I don't see them beating Kansas City at all. So. I think they'll take it home regardless.
Yeah. I'm sticking to my prediction. It was KC. So me, Cam, have KC. Flanny, you have KC. I guess your boys.
So I have to finish this thing off right? I can't get to this point and not pick the Eagles.
Like Elroy.
And I'm also trying. I'm also trying not to be Elroy and just blind faith that's gonna get us there. One, I'd love to see it because I love Andy Reid. Love Andy Reid. I mean, he was with the Eagles for so long. I didn't want to see him go. I was happy he finally got a Super Bowl, even though I wish he was in Philly. So, this would be kind of an ideal. At this point, this would be kind of an ideal Super Bowl for me.
That, and which is the cool thing, too, the Kelce brothers.
Yeah, the Kelce brothers. That would be dope. Their podcast is awesome. I don't know if you saw, they had a whole segment about McDaniels and his vape.
I was getting into it for the next segment.
Oh, my God. So, that would be awesome. The storylines would be dope. Obviously, we wouldn't have to go to Arrowhead. They wouldn't have to come to Philly. Were we in LA this year?
No, Phoenix.
Phoenix this year, sorry. So, I mean, on paper, I think it's a good matchup. Again, if the Eagles are the Eagles we saw most of the year. Because let's not forget, KC had some stretches in the year we were like, who are these guys? Who took all their powers? Because this is not the Kansas City we know. And also, I want to circle back to, there were so many people who thought Tyreek Hill leaving Kansas City was going to be the end of Patrick Mahomes. And when I heard it, I'm like, that is the most insane thing I ever heard. Tyreek Hill, amazing, all-pro. Patrick Mahomes, amazing, all-pro. One is, they're both going to be fine. And I always thought that from the beginning. I'm like, Tyreek Hill will be fine. But I'm like, you think Patrick Mahomes is just going to forget how to play football? Like, he's going to take whatever he has and make the best out of it anyway. And he still has great weapons.
Yeah.
So,
Kelsey's taking that one spot now.
100%. So, I think on paper, again, if teams are healthy, everything's going, I think it'll be a great matchup. I think our offense can give them fits where their defense is a little bit more vulnerable. Those linebackers in the middle, their corners and safeties are a little bit older. I like A.J. Brown. I like those one-on-one matchups offensively. I would be scared to death of our defense. Now, we have Bradbury and Slay, two corners who you can put on an island one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I just don't know that we have the linebackers that can run with Kelsey. I don't know that we have the linebackers or edge guys that can run with McKinnon and those guys, Pacheco out the backfield. And then just Mahomes being Mahomes. So I'm going to stick with the prediction of the Eagles because I do think we could beat them. I absolutely think we could beat them. I think if we play our game, Hurts comes out and he does his thing. When we get in a groove play calling and we're running the ball and opening up play action through that way,
you guys are scary.
I think we are really, really hard to stop. And I think defensively we led the league in sacks. We had the third best year in terms of sacks for a team ever in the league. So if we can get to them a la how the Bucs got to them in the Super Bowl a couple years ago, now granted they didn't have an offensive line that year, but I think if we can have those same type of problems and wreak havoc, get Mahomes off his spot, speed him up, we can absolutely beat them. So I feel like I have to stick with that. But that would be an ideal Super Bowl for me. I would love to watch that matchup for a ton of different reasons.
Oh, yeah. I definitely have to watch the Super Bowl with you because last time we watched the Super Bowl, it was...
So it's the thing. I have a rule. And granted, I say this like the Eagles have been in many Super Bowls. I watched that game all by myself. Actually, I watched it with my mom. Shout out to my mom. We watched it together. And my brother, who's a huge Eagles fan, is in Philly. So we were communicating. If they get back to the Super Bowl, nobody will see me. I can't leave the house. One, because I'm very superstitious. So I'm like, I got to
a certain spot
go back to the same spot because I just can't. And I'm also that passionate fan. And, I'm not going to punch any of my buddies in the face if the Eagles are losing in the Super Bowl. But I don't want to be in that position.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm like, let me sit that one out.
Elder, I'm not sure if you're still watching, but if it was Cowboys, Eagles, could you ever watch a game with Elray?
No, only because I couldn't. I love L, so I probably watch the game with L, but I don't know if I could watch that with anyone. And that's where I'm at now at this point. I'm not. I've been watching these games at home, or even with fellow Eagles fans, because it's a little different. Because we're obviously coming from the same standpoint. But I'm that type of person. These big games, I have to just kind of seclude myself in a room because I want to just be able to see everything and hear everything and take it all in. So hopefully, if they don't get to the Super Bowl, we're partying it up. If they get to, especially if the Cowboys get to the Super Bowl, I will be at that party and I will be covered in whatever team's gear they're playing that night, just to make sure.
He's going Fanatics next day order.
100%. I'm gonna be like Coach 30 from Twitter, who just gets the different gear from every team. That's gonna be.
That dude's hilarious, by the way. And I'm the same way. Last week I was watching that Dolphins Bills game by myself here, losing my mind. False hopes. I'm definitely into the game at that point. But again, I can't. People are hitting me up. They're like, yo, what are you doing?
They sucked you in, man. Because I remember the day before, you were like, hey, it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I've accepted it already.
Yep. And then they sucked me in. False hope. I'm like, fuck. Oh, my. Dude, that.
It's heartbreaking,
the
man.
fourth and. Dude, heartbreaking. The 4th and 1. And I seen they thought it was first down. Which I don't get how that happens. How does the ref tell you it's first down? I'm not saying it's McDaniel's fault. It's the ref's fault. It was clearly not a first down. So he thinks, all right, then at 14 seconds, he has to send his new group in. It's 2 hours less time. But to go still, 4th and 1 to 4th and 6, it's like, God damn. And then Skylar Thompson, zero vision. Tyreek Hill's wide open on the slant on the first route.
That pass was never going to get to the sticks. And that's my thing. It's and I want to, give Skylar some credit because he obviously was thrown in a crazy-ass situation. I thought he played decent overall.
Waddle 3 drops.
That
Gesicki drop. It's like, dude, what the 4 good passes this kid does have, you drop.
Yep.
Jesus. But then he misses Tyreek Hill on the crossing route. He was
open.
Wide
it was funny because I don't know, was it Romo was like, he would have scored. And I'm like, Tony, there was 2 guys behind him, but he was wide open. He would have had 15, 20 yards.
100%, but it's also Tyreek Hill. He could have easily just outran those dudes.
Oh, yeah, he could have.
But, that's talking about the Dolphins. But, yes, so we got Eagles, Flanny, me and Cam, Chiefs. El Rey still got the
Fly, Eagles,
Cowboys.
fly. I have to.
I'm praying for my guys this week, man. This Saturday, man. Because Giants haven't been in the playoffs since 2016. Haven't been to a Super Bowl since 2012. So it's like, you know, you want to see them. For me at least, want to see them go on a run. But like you said, if like the Cowboys or somebody like that, or say God forbid the Giants make it to like the NFC Championship and they lose, I'm rooting for whatever obviously whatever teams.
Yeah, anybody with the Cowboys, man. Like, yeah. I honestly just hope San Fran takes care of them this week. But if they do get there, anybody but the Cowboys, man. There's nothing better than being able to still hold that over Cowboys fans that they haven't done a fucking thing in 20 years. It's really, really fun to do.
Yeah, it's funny. I was thinking about watching the Super Bowl with you was the Falcons Super Bowl when you came out with the "Welcome to Atlanta" song when they were up 28-3.
I was so...
We were basking on our glory.
I thought they were... Obviously, as a Eagles fan, I've never obviously been a Patriots fan, so I'm loving it. I'm eating it up. And then Devontae Freeman being a Florida State Seminole, being my favorite Florida State Seminole, was so happy. And I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Just run the ball, man.
It made no sense.
It was so easy. So fucking... And you could see it slipping away, and it got to the point, I think it was in like third quarter, I'm like, it's over.
Yeah.
And I remember when the Pats scored before halftime, I said that to somebody, I'm like... Was it halftime? Yeah, halftime they got it to 23, I think 20-10. And I was like, that touchdown might be the difference because now they're going to make all the adjustments in the world. And once it starts to get away, like you can't regain it. Like it's gone.
So weird. And then
at least the Pats suck.
Yeah.
We can all relish in that.
Yeah, it makes me feel a little.
Welcome back to reality, Patriots fans.
Yep, welcome
I told
back.
you it was coming for a long time. This is what it feels like to be just a fan of regular teams, I guess, where you got to take the good and the bad.
I said last week, it's easy to be like, oh, of course we're going to win it this year. It's easy to say that.
But sports radios, they still talk about Tom Brady. Like, shut up.
Oh
I cannot stand people still talking about Brady.
The
like,
thing I hate the most
let him
is...
move on. He's in Tampa Bay. Who cares what he's doing?
There'll be like a 1 o'clock or 4 o'clock game on Fox. Usually you get the regional games. The Giants will be playing the Eagles in the Meadowlands. I'll turn the TV on. It's the fucking Bucks and the Panthers. And I'm like, why am I watching this? And it's only because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Clearly that's not regional. Nobody up here wants to watch either of these teams, but I have to watch fucking Tom Brady just because he was here for 20 years. Like,
yeah. And Cam has to go about quick ending topics of this podcast. Speaking of Tom Brady, where do we predict him for next year? Is he coming back? If you're betting money, if you're a betting guy, I'm not sure if either you... Oh, I know you are because Herbert screwed you over. Betting money on where do you think Brady lands next year? On the couch, Miami, Tampa, San Fran. What's your thoughts?
or the plastic surgeon.
Or the plastic surgeon, or
Yeah,
the plastic surgeon and Las Vegas at the Raiders training camp.
I hope he's on the couch. I hope he's done, retired. Because you got to respect his game. Like probably the best quarterback. If not one of the best of all time.
It's certainly the most accomplished.
Exactly. Yeah. So don't want to pray on his downfall, but it's like he's gonna be 46 years old. So it's like
embrace the down. My thing is,
keep the legacy alive. If you keep going, it's just gonna.
You couldn't have written it any better.
Exactly.
You win all these things in New England. You leave and go to Tampa. You want to prove all these points to Belichick and all these other people that you can win. You win the Super Bowl in your home stadium. Why are you not hanging it up?
Should have done it.
There's no better way to end it. And I understand, and I'm not a pro athlete, but I hear so many pro athletes like, yeah, but you don't want to give it up if you think you can still play. I understand that. But there's nothing left for you to for you to accomplish. Like, you might have hated your wife. Well, now you're divorced. So go home, man. Just go be a dad. Like, you're gonna walk into any network in the world, and they're gonna give you $25 million a year.
Well, he already has that Fox deal.
Yeah, if they're sitting on the table, whatever they're giving Romo, you're getting so much more. It's just dude, just hang it up, man. Because now you're out here and you look crazy. And it's
he
to
thrives
one of
off that though.
Yeah, it's that point where it's even as a non-Brady fan, it's just dude, I don't want to see you out there looking like this. This shit is sad. Just hang it up. You have nothing to prove.
Yeah.
So you're going with couch too.
Well, I hope it's the couch, but my gut tells me he's gonna play again.
Yeah, I think
I don't know
where
teams though. I don't think he would.
Yeah, and they also just fired Leftwich. I don't think they're gonna bring Bowles. I don't think they're gonna bring him back. So I think maybe they say, Tom, who do you want?
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Like a LeBron type thing.
Yeah.
Have him bring in guys.
But I hope he hangs it up, man. I really do. But I don't think he will.
So you don't think he will? So where do you see him?
To Cam's point, I can see him staying in Tampa because I think the whole regime's gonna change there. I think he's probably got a good spot. I had thought, honestly, before Purdy started to play well, I thought San Fran, and I had always thought San Fran could have been a landing spot for years because he's from there. Vegas, I think, makes a lot of sense back on the West Coast, so I can see that as well. But yeah, I don't know. I would say gut is he still plays and he stays in Tampa. But I think he should hang it up.
I'm going with he is going to hang it up. I think he's just going to come to that conclusion. I do not want to see him in Miami. I don't want to see him in Miami, especially after this Monday game. I'm like, oh no. I would have took him when he first wanted to come.
Yeah.
Of course, I would want to at that point.
And that was like a done deal.
Oh, I know.
That was like done
I
until that
know.
whole Stephen Ross shit came out.
Oh my god, that and
Well,
then
you would have taken that.
100%,
Oh,
100%.
You would have been like, fuck Tom Brady, Patriots, cool, we'll embrace you. Man,
I would have bought every damn Miami Brady jersey.
I don't think.
And then, but that, yeah, even last year I probably would have took him, to be honest. And Flores threw a wrench in that shit.
Yeah.
And then I would have took him last year too. Yeah. Especially with this roster, Tyreek and Waddle, I think he would have made it work. But going forward, that's Brady's thoughts. What do you think about Aaron Rodgers? Think he's staying in Green Bay? Think he's leaving? What's your prediction?
Another guy too, I can't stand. I hope he retires too. But it sucks to see like the end of an era, like great quarterbacks in the NFL, like coming to like their retirement age. I mean, after seeing him this year, Green Bay wasn't anything special. I mean, I don't know. I don't see any. Even if like he doesn't retire, I don't see him leaving Green Bay.
Yeah,
either.
where does he go?
Yeah, why would you leave? You're gonna be, I don't even know how old he is. He's probably pushing like 45 too or something.
Yeah, because people forget how long he sat.
Yeah.
And didn't play, and you can look at that both ways. You can look at that like he's older than expected. You can look at that he hasn't taken as many hits as Brady. But yeah, I mean I've completely soured on Aaron Rodgers over like the last year and a half. A lot of it is off the field. I think he's a fucking kook.
But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of him either.
But I will always say he's the most talented quarterback I've probably ever seen. Probably on like the caliber of Marino in terms of like just how talented he was. But yeah, I think the contract he signed last year, I think he will stay in Green Bay. I think it's going to have to be similar to like the Brady thing. They're going to have to give him a lot of things. But also, I mean, look, the contract he signed was the reason why Devontae left. So like, it's counterproductive. Honestly, I think Green Bay might be better off just moving on from him. Yeah. Like just move on. You're not going to win a Super Bowl with him at this point.
One of the best
just
receivers
not.
in the NFL.
Yeah.
So
You have Jordan Love. I don't know if you think there's anything there. Maybe you just want to see. If not, I would go and grab somebody else now.
A lot of young guys too, like Lazard. Like they have a lot of young.
That's what I'm saying.
Guys.
Like look at those. The running back tandem is awesome.
Yeah.
Like you have you're literally thunder and lightning. Their defense is really really good.
Yeah.
So it's like you have it, but I don't think they're gonna compete for a Super Bowl in the next couple of years. So I think if I was them, I'd try to cut bait on Aaron because I just don't think it's worth the hassle at this point. But my gut tells me he sticks around. He's there for another year, and it's honestly probably another year that looks like this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's 39 by the way. But I've given my thoughts about this.
I just want him to just talk to his parents. Just pick up the phone, call your mom and dad, get that all squared away. Like,
I gave my thoughts last podcast, but if I want to hear GM Flanny because he is Coach Flanny. If you are the GM of the Miami Dolphins, what are you doing for the quarterback situation? We fought our DC, deservingly so. So also bringing a new defense scheme next year. We do have X. We have Kudar came out pretty good as a corner this year. We have our linebacker Bradley Chubb. We have Phillips. Pretty solid defense. We have a new scheme. Holland, bro, he's an animal. Obviously, the offense. We don't have to talk about that. Everyone knows the offense already. But Tua is injury prone. What does Coach /GM Flanny do?
I
Rodgers,
like Tua.
Brady.
I've always liked Tua dating back to Alabama. I remember when he was coming out, I was concerned about that breaking his hip at that age and all that stuff. And I thought y'all should have drafted Herbert, but neither here nor there. I like Tua. I just don't know that the man can spell his name at this point. So I don't think that the Dolphins will bring him back. Sadly, I think they're going to use some of this injury stuff as not a cop-out, but it's going to be their reason to be like, all right, we're just going to move on. We're going to cut bait. There's just a lot of messy stuff here. Yeah. It's easier to move on. I think, honestly, Tua would probably benefit for it. I think it was one of the things where maybe he needs to go somewhere else and see if he can kind of regain some of that magic he had. But if I'm Miami, I make Lamar Jackson say no.
That was the last.
That's my first stop.
That is the last talking point I have. Literally,
Lamar Jackson has to say no. What do you want, Lamar? What do you need? You get to come back home. You get to play with Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and Gesicki and all these guys.
Yeah.
You get to really compete, I think. And granted, Baltimore, that division is tough since he's there. I do think Pittsburgh can be decent. Cleveland's still Cleveland. But then you look at the AFC East, and it's like Buffalo's Buffalo, but the Patriots and the Jets are not near competing. So if you can get a quarterback in there, you can. Why can't you go? You almost beat Buffalo with fucking Skyler, whatever his name, Thompson. So if you go get Lamar Jackson, that changes everything. Yeah. So that's my first call, my last call. Lamar has to say no. I do everything I can to go get Lamar. If he says no, then I think you kind of recalibrate because I don't know who else is out there. You're not going to go get Derek fucking Carr.
I'll say the same thing.
So Lamar has to say no.
Yeah. Supposedly the insider scoop is Lamar wants to come to Miami.
That's what I've heard.
Apparently he likes how McDaniels calls the offense. He thinks that they would have crazy caliber offense, which they would. I mean,
They
Lamar,
were. Yeah, I mean, on
Jalen.
paper,
I hate rumors. They just get your hopes up.
I know.
Especially if you're healthy, man.
I know.
They get your hopes
Oh
up.
man!
'Cause it's
But the thing
fucking
is,
Lamar.
I'm sold on Tua when he plays. But same thing though. Are we gonna replace an injury prone quarterback with another injury prone quarterback though?
Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And this Lamar situation it's funny, right? Because I do think he's hurt. But I thought, and granted, I don't know. So, but during the regular season, I knew he was banged up, and in my head, I'm like, all right, he's just making 100% sure he's healthy, and also he's waiting for the playoffs. I don't blame him. Like he's also playing for a contract. He has to be smart too. But I thought he'd be back to the playoff. I thought he was like okay enough, and it sounds like there was actually a really really serious injury. There's more to it. But then the Ravens, like what Harbaugh was saying, it sounded like there was something fishy and more to it.
100%.
And I can understand a guy who's looking to get that payday, $300 million, $400 million payday, wanting to take it easy and be sure and not throw that away. But also you got to look at the flip side of it, because now I know Baltimore on their end, they're looking at it like, well, we're not going to pay you the same as these guys because you're not on the field as much.
Yeah.
So I do think there's a concern there, but also like that's his style. Like you have to be okay with that. Like even as a Jalen Hurts, he's my quarterback. I worry about the running. But you also have to understand, like, that's what makes him him. Like, if he doesn't do that, he's not the same. And it's the same for Lamar. Like, I think I've always given, Lamar more credit than the average person as a passer, because I do think he can throw the ball. But he's Michael Vick 2.0. He's not going to stay in the pocket.
Yeah.
He's not. Like, you want him to be a little more cautious, not take as many hits, but that's his game. You can't change his game because he's not going to be the MVP.
And Danny Dimes. Vanilla Vick.
Vanilla Vick right there. I mean, I agree with you, though. I mean, Lamar is just, at least Lamar's injuries aren't head-related. But Miami said, I've read a report, I think Scheffler put it out there, that Tua's not more prone to a concussion more than any other player. But at this point, he's just proven it to be injury prone. So it's tough. I would like Lamar. I would like a healthy Tua. So it's Dolphins are in a weird position. They're in a position to win now, but they got to make the right decision either. Right. But Dolphins history, they always make the wrong decision.
They always do.
They always make the wrong decision. So it's tough as a fan, but I'll always be a fan. You guys are in a better position than me right now. Flanny's rolling with his boys, the Eagles. He's breaking Elray's heart.
Feel good.
We're gonna be in here partying.
No, but I do think between our three teams, I think we can all feel good about the future.
100%.
Like I certainly do. I think like you mentioned with Dan Jones coming in the year, but I think now it's like, all right, he absolutely needs another year. Like of course you see the development.
Coach, you didn't see what he was
and
Dable.
Look what Dable did with Josh Allen, right? Look what he did in Alabama with Hurts and other guys. So like I think now you're more likely to stick with him, and like you said, they have a nucleus around him. So. Yeah. I mean, the division, people used to talk, and the NFC fan was like the NFC least and all that. I'm like, well, we got 3 teams in the playoffs. So, like, clearly something's happening.
Almost 4.
Almost, yeah. Literally, Washington was like half a game away from getting in, so.
I don't want to continue. I know Cam got to go, but I don't understand the Heineke benching. Made no sense to me. Wentz sucked. You're going to put Heineke in the bench for fucking Wentz? Wentz stinks.
It's the same as, like, the Zappy and Mac Jones thing.
Why would you bench Zappy?
My thing is, like, it's one of those, like, NFL things. Like, well, we drafted this guy 10th overall. We got to play him. And it's like, okay, but Zappy came in. You don't owe Mac Jones anything more than you owed Taylor Zappy. So if he's playing well, just ride the wave, like, and then make the decision. And Heineke was the same. I'm like, you have in Carson Wentz. Like, to the fact that they had Sam Howell out there in the last game because Heineke, like, those guys weren't healthy. I'm like, and this is from an Eagles guy. Like, I know what Wentz can do, what he can't do. I know what's good and what's bad. The injury stuff has broken him. Like, he's just broken. And it sucks, but it's what it is. So it's like...
Imagine if your coaching staff at that point was like, you know what, Foles, hit the bench. We got Wentz back in. Bro, put Foles in. Anybody can be my quarterback. I don't give a shit. We win a rank. I don't care. I don't care.
Same. Like, as an Eagles fan, it's like, all right, Nick Foles was my Super Bowl winner. Nick Foles fucking damn near outplayed Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. So it doesn't matter what else he's done in his career. Like, he showed up in that playoff run and in the Super Bowl. So it's like, I'm not going to look at that Super Bowl win any differently because we did it with a backup. If anything, it's probably a little tougher to have done it with a backup who only started, when the playoffs came around.
It's tough to make that sub too with the quarterback. Like, it's really, really hard. But I mean, if you got to roll with the hot hand. I mean, once he starts not falling apart, but if Zappy, and Heineke, they weren't playing well, then you could see it. All right, put back.
And that's easy because you can always go back there. Like, that's an easy decision to make.
Reassurance, exactly.
Yeah, weird decision on that part. But I'm glad you guys came through. I mean, do you have any last words, Cam? I know you're going to school soon, so it might be tough to reconnect. But I'm glad you came by for 3 podcasts in your break. Yeah, anything you should be looking forward for Cam? Any news people should be looking out for?
Well, just stay tuned for more episodes of Cam's Corner. Go subscribe at Cam's Corner, Cam's One Corner on all social medias. I got some cool stuff planned in the future. And again, if we want to do more episodes, finishing the brackets out, I'd be happy to join over Zoom if I'm down at school. If we want to get more episodes in, definitely keep following along on the bracket part. That'll be fun. And again, like I said, stay tuned. Got a lot of stuff coming.
Yeah, make sure you check out your boy on ESPN Plus for URI basketball games.
Got a game tomorrow.
Shout out to the URI women's team.
Oh, they're cooking.
Because they are cooking right now, and they don't get nearly enough love and respect. And I know when I was at URI, in the men's team when I was at URI was good. And they had a really good team at that time. But I used to love watching the women play. And like now seeing how good they are, I'm excited for that program to see them come back up. And be competing in the conference and just nationally. I think it's just dope that the women are kind of getting back to that point.
Yeah.
Hopefully the men will get back there soon. I hope so.
It'll be a long road, but got hope.
Yeah, no, you're a big fan of women's basketball because you were at the WNBA finals.
Yeah, I went to.
If I knew you went, I would have went with you.
Yeah, no, I went. Shout out to my buddy Eli. It was just kind of a thing. We're at work talking about it, and I was like, oh shit, like there's a WNBA finals game tomorrow, and it could have been the closeout game. It ended up being the closeout game, and I was like, when else can you say you went to like a finals game for like $20? And we literally sat in like the. Right behind the Aces bench where like their whole family was, so it was cool. We were talking to like Becky Hammond's grandmother and like the whole team and stuff. So that was dope to see. Like, and I love women's basketball. I will watch women's basketball all day, every day. As like a basketball coach, it's kind of like the purest form of basketball you're gonna see.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So from a coach's standpoint, it's always dope to see. But also like, I just saw a video the other day of like this 14-year-old girl who's like catching windmills.
I see
like
that.
The women's game is really about to change, I think, in the next few years in a positive way. So I just hope like the infrastructure and the WNBA and all these different leagues are ready for that and can really support it. I love women's basketball.
Yeah, that's dope. And any lasting closing words for you, Flanny? I might not see you again for another year. I don't know. It's tough to get you sometimes. We got you here.
Yeah. It'll all depend on what the rest of these playoffs shake out like.
Well, if they win, you're coming back and talking that trash.
Yeah. If they come back, 100%, it's first place I'm coming. I definitely got to cut a Ric Flair promo if that happens. But yeah, I mean, you can find me Instagram, Twitter. Yeah, Flanny. Just sharing a whole bunch of randomness at all random times. Obviously, heavy sports related, but just a little bit of everything. So you can follow me there. Like I said, super excited to see what's going to come from RIFC in the coming days, months, years. So definitely. I'd love to keep folks updated on that. But yeah, just in general, obviously, hopefully get back here soon and be able to talk some stuff. Basketball, I'm excited to talk basketball.
Oh, for sure.
Especially NBA as we get to this All-Star break and stuff. The parity in the NBA right now is so awesome. Like, having League Pass is the best thing in the world right now. It's so dope to just on a random day be like, I want to watch the Magic this day. I want to watch the Cavs this day.
Oh, for sure.
A lot of exciting basketball.
It'd be a cool one to do us three and L, right? Because we're all big basketball guys.
Might have to take the pod on the road to Kingston.
I'm down.
We might have to.
I'm so down.
Whatever you want. Name time and place. I'm down anytime.
Oh, this mixer's portable, baby. We can do it. So I'm glad you guys came through. It's NFL 2022. NFL.
Hey, kids, don't do what Mike McDaniels did. Stay off the vapes. They're not good for you. That's definitely why the clock management was so bad in that last minute. My man was too high on the cotton candy vape.
I wouldn't doubt it. That MFer. That motherfucker. But, can I get Flanny sauce? You in a rush?
A little bit, yeah.
Fuck, my bad.
No, you're good. No worries.
All right, cool. I had another topic, but we can do it next time. My guy, thanks for coming through, Cam. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate you, Flanny. Make sure you follow your boy EG Pop on all social medias and Sport F on all social medias. Get it, baby.
Sir.